So we're at On Deck Sound Studio. This is our Carr Shootout. We've got 7 Carr amplifiers here. We've partnered up with George's Music to bring this to you. We own a bunch. They gave us a few to try out. So first up is the Carr Mercury, which is basically their Marshall circuit. Cool, and then we're going to get a little lead line on the telly. Beautiful. For each of these, we're going to have it where, and Jeff can be doing this in the background like a NASCAR race, we're going to be doing a telly and a Les Paul for each of those. We're running them through, there's 2 microphones, a 57 and R121, a Royer, and we're running them through a pair of Portico 2s. So here comes the Les Paul for the Mercury. And then a lead line for Les Paul. Beautiful. All right, next amp. So this is we're not really familiar with this amp. This is from George's. This is the Carr Raleigh, which is kind of what we're reading online. I think if we're getting it right, it's kind of like their practice amp. And almost hearing it already, it kind of reminds me a little bit of like a Vibrochamp, maybe? Like those kind of practice amps that when you dime, they sound really amazing. So let's see what we got. Cool, a little lead. Sweet, Les Paul. Yeah, what pickup are you on there?
That was rhythm. Let's do some treble.
Just out of curiosity, I'm going to dime this thing. Give me a sec.
All right.
Yep, stay right there.
All right, this is it done.
Let's see what happens.
Do a little rhythm.
Kind of what I expected. Go ahead with the lead.
Kind of like a fuzz.
Yeah, interesting. Cool, man. So that was the Raleigh. So we're going to vote now on each one. And we'll see. Some of these videos may not be that, but let's see what happens. Go ahead, Jeff. I'll let you go first.
Well, my vote is based on the sound in this environment. I have to go with the Mercury. I'm in love with that Marshall, that slight twang, just the Marshall sound. I love it.
I like it. So it's interesting for me. Yeah, I really like the Mercury, but owning a Marshall half stack, a 50 watt that's in the other room, I feel like I'd use the Raleigh more in this place just for like a super cool flavor. But if I didn't have the Marshall, I would vote for the Mercury. But yeah, both killer amps, killer tones. Excited to see what else we got in the next room. All right, so here we are. This is the bonus round. We have the Fender Vibrochamp plugged in to compare it to the Raleigh. Here goes. Definitely different,
thoughts?
But in that same, I feel like they're in that same family.
Very different. The Vibrochamp's lower gain, a little sharper. I feel like if I wanted to go for the Stones thing, Vibrochamp wins. But if I wanted to play maybe even like a Satriani type lead, get that creamy sound, I would have to go with the Carr.
With the Raleigh.
The Raleigh,
For sure. Love it. Beautiful. All right, so this round we have the Skylark and the Rambler, and I think we're going to put the Superbee in as well, because I feel like they're all kind of in that vintage Fender blackface era. The Skylark is their Princeton. This is another one from George's that we haven't played with yet. The Superbee is like a super, and the Rambler is like a deluxe. So I'm interested to hear these three together. So. Beauty. We're going to hear the Les Paul next. That's pretty sweet.
Oh, yeah.
This is the Skylark, just with a little bit more, with the volume up.
All right.
So this is the Rambler in the Pentode mode, which is a little bit higher of an output. In this situation, we're not really concerned with the attenuators and all that stuff, because we have a big live room where we can just crank the amps and let them do what they really do. So we're going to be going with those settings. Like, at least in hearing you play in the room, that it's kind of pretty responsive to you kind of jumping on it and making it spanky. You can get those glassy cleans with it, but also spank it, and it very cool. What do you think?
My vote is for the Skylark. I love how clean and sharp it sounds.
All right. Wow. All right. And we own the Rambler and not the Skylark, so that's bad news so far for my wallet. I do. The thing that I really love about the Rambler, I think it's super cool. I think these are all, again, the Carrs are amazing amps. They're hand wired. They do that vintage thing, but they're brand new, which is nice. They're going to always perform for you. We are not paid spokesmen here for this, just so you know that too. But I really love the built-in trem on that thing. It's really lush and cool. So that makes it hard to pass up for me, the Rambler.
So far, we've got 2 disagreements in a row.
This is the Superbee, and right now we have it on. The Superbee is really cool in that it has 3 settings. And I believe it's 64, 68, 72. I will confirm that in a minute when I go back in to switch it. But it basically gives you the 64, if I'm saying the right ones, gives you a really nice clean tone, and that's what we're starting on. It kind of gets dirtier as you go up in years or in numbers.
And now some lead.
And let's stay on the telly for this.
Okay.
This is now the 68. So it is 64, 68, 72.
the grit.
Love it. And that's the 72 on the Superbee. So the Superbee is really cool in that you have all those flavors kind of just with the flip of a switch.
The versatility is really wins me over.
Of the Superbee.
I think I'm Team Superbee.
It's tough. We own the Superbee, so that's a good one
I know,
for
better
us.
for his wallet. I'll tell you right off the bat, I like that. I like it.
Superbee is tough to beat.
And it sounds really good with both the Telly and the Gibson. That's what I noticed about this one.
Yeah, in this shootout, I had a feeling that I was going to like the Starlight and the Rambler the best. I thought my vote was going to be Rambler, Starlight, Superbee. It might honestly be swapped for me right now. And this is one. We're going to give a disclaimer right now. You know, we're just having some fun making a video here. This isn't the end-all video on cars. This isn't the end-all video. We understand that we could have used the Strat. We understand that all the knobs do different things and the mics and placement and everything else. We don't have 7 days to do this, so we're just having some fun, and we actually want to hear the amps as well. So, and some of them we don't own, so we don't actually know the names of them, or I don't know the names of them. Thankfully, Jeff does in this case. And it is the Skylark. So I would go, I think right now that would be my order. What do you think?
You're saying your order is, give me the order one more time.
Surprisingly, Superbee, Skylark, Rambler.
I'm going to have to second that. The Superbee, so versatile. You can do a lot of good things with it. Skylark had that beautiful, pristine clean. And then the Rambler is also amazing.
Yeah, and they're all great. And honestly, I'll probably end up with all of them, because I've got issues in my life.
Tracy, give me an example of a situation where you would say the Rambler is the amp for this moment.
I think when I wanted a little bit more, when I wanted more of that deluxe thing, where there's a little bit, there's a little bit more headroom than the Starlight, and it's not quite as chimey as that, and it just kind of gives a different flavor.
All right, and the trem.
And definitely the built-in trem. I love the built-in trem, and I got to kind of hear these back too and stuff to really get my head around what all of them are doing. But they're all definitely unique flavors that I think we want all of them. If I could, I'd own the whole line. They're amazing. Like I said, they always work. I always say, like, my twin, probably, you know, if I turn it on 5 times a year, 10 times a year, let's say, if I use my twin, at least 2 of those, it cost me $300 in a repair bill, because it's always flaking out on me. Vintage amps are tough in that when we're in a recording studio, I want them to perform. I don't want to like have to be, you know, waiting on them or switching out an amp because it's not working. We're in a creative flow. The nice part about the car stuff is that it just always works. Sounds amazing. It's not noisy and dirty and all that stuff. So,
wow. So you can almost anticipate when the Fender is going to need repairs. It's just
I just anticipate it as just like, if I've turned it on 5 times, I'm nervous already.
It's like a car. It's like an old car.
That's it. And that's kind of it. You're looking
That's
at
CAR.
They're amazing. And listen, I would love to have an old Chevy or and drive it around, an old Cadillac with a convertible, but I know that thing's going to break down a lot. So that's the difference.